Today, 12 things every reefer should know about selecting the right RODI system the first time.
What we wish somebody had told us day one. Number one, starting with a direct answer to that question, the 5-stage plus 75 gallon per day system is the right solution for 80% of the reefers. In fact, a vast majority of you don't even have to watch the rest of this video, but if you do, you'll see why.
Number two, the 4-stage is acceptable in some cases and by far the most common, but I'd only use it on a small tank or where portability is key.
This is the reason why I wish somebody had told me day one, because I bought a 4-stage with my first system. And the reason that we say that it's only good for a small tank or portability is because it only has the one carbon block. And if you watched one of our science episodes on this, we'd know that the carbon blocks are not 100% efficient. In fact, many of them let half of the contaminants through. And what we want those things in is series. So most of ours are gonna let about only 15% of it through. So 15, 85% reduction, another 85% reduction. And the reason that that matters also is because the carbon blocks actually are able to recharge, and they do their best work in the initial states and when they're on.
They can actually recharge?
Yeah, the carbon blocks will actually recharge during the downtime.
I didn't know, that's amazing.
And their best performance will be early on when you just turned them on. Okay, so if I had a really small amount of water, like a 20-gallon tank at the office, and a portable solution is really key for me, great, because I'm probably only gonna produce like a 5-gallon bucket of water with it, and one carbon block is probably adequate for that purpose. So that is where about the stages, or the block that I would use a 4-stage in. And if you're wondering, like, oh, damn it, man, I bought a 4-stage, all you really need to do is pick up one more stage and put it before it, throw a sediment filter, and then use the first two just for carbon blocks. You're done. You're now into the 5-stage world. Do not need to buy a whole new system. 4-stage, sometimes, okay. Number three, if you can say this sentence, I'm going to install the system in a location that's hard to see, and I'm also likely somebody that does not change out my filters timely, the 6-stage with the dual DIs is the solution for you, but why?
Well, I would assume that if you're the kind of person who's not going to do that, then the more filtration power you have means the longer you can go without encountering any problems.
That's exactly the answer. The reality is you never ever want to go past the single DI, right? After that, it like purges garbage into the water. It's not just like a little couple extra TDS, it's the worst stuff that's gonna go in there. So that's why we have 2 DIs in this case. If I have it in a location I can't see, that means I can't see the TDS meter, I can't really see the color change all that well, and out of sight, out of mind. In that case, what I really want is 2 DIs so that when the one gets fully depleted and eventually goes into the second one, well, I had that catch-all there, and I can just change out the depleted one. Whenever it gets depleted, leave that safety net there. If you are really nerdy about this, you could actually swap them then, and then make sure that the partially depleted one goes in, put the fresh one after. I think it's an unnecessary step. The purpose of 2 is actually just to make sure you always have that emergency catch-all at the end.
Number 4, if you know you have terrible water or you want the most efficient system, the 7-stage with Pro DI is the right move.
Okay, here's a good question.
Okay.
What does terrible water mean to you?
That's a really good question. I mean, how are you supposed to know? Is it high in chlorines, high in chloramines, a lot of silica, a lot of ammonia? Who really knows, to be honest?
Most people would actually say, like, it's 800 TDS water. That's really, really bad water. Well, yeah, I guess it's really bad with calcium and alkalinity and whatever, magnesium maybe in there. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's really bad. The 7-stage is actually looking at things that are really difficult to remove, like oral ammonia gas. It doesn't have a charge. Silica at high pHs doesn't have a charge. In those cases, there are some difficult to remove things if you have some abnormal things about your water. And by abnormal, I don't mean like really weird. I mean like Minneapolis water has these problems. So if you have 7-stage also, though, one of the cool things is you're using DI resin more efficiently. Right? So a mixed bag of resin has roughly half positive, half negative charged ions in it, right? Except for the problem here is one of those actually has double the capacity of the other one. And our water supplies often burn one of them faster than the other one. And so you end up throwing away a lot of really good resin. In fact, what a lot of people that use the Pro will find out is that I will change out, for every time that I have to change out the anion resin, the cation resin might be only 1 in 10 times.
That's crazy. You're going to save quite a bit of money in the long run by going with that Pro DI.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things that in the long run, you will probably save money on the 7 stage and you'll produce higher quality water. But terrible water, this is your guy.
Number 5, if water's expensive in your area or there are conservation measures in place, the water saver is the right move.
I think of California, Colorado, Nevada, all those areas where water is getting more scarce by the day. The water saver actually cuts down the wastewater by half in ratio to how much product water you produce anyways. And it does it really simply.
I live in Palm Springs, the desert of deserts. And I can't imagine not using 2 of those RO membranes because literally this year we've had to stop watering all lawns because we've just run out of water. And so just my conscience, I couldn't sleep at night if I knew I wasn't saving as much water as humanly possible.
Yeah, you can get actually fined.
Oh, yeah.
And so all it does, the water saver, is bolt on another RO membrane on the top, and then the wastewater from the one feeds the second one. Now that sounds bad, but do you know why it isn't really bad?
No, tell me.
Yeah, basically, like here, if I did it, I have 100 TDS water in the Minneapolis water, and I'm gonna spit out roughly 1/4 of it as pure water, which means what's gonna come out in the waste will be like 120 or 125 TDS.
It's not that much more.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's no difference. So basically by running the 2 membranes in series like that, what I allow it to do is produce twice as much product water with the same amount of wastewater, which effectively cuts it in half in terms of how we produce water. So if water conservation is an issue for you, water saver models, definitely the answer. Number 6, good news, water saver does something else too.
If you need water faster, then the 150 gallon per day water saver is the right option.
Yeah, this guy right here is 75 gallons per day, which might sound like a lot, but that means it's 3 gallons an hour.
3 gallons an hour. That's like a drip drop.
It's pretty slow. So when you save all that water by putting the second membrane on there, it goes from 75 to 100, which is now 6 gallons an hour. Still kind of slow, but twice as fast. So if you need water faster, the water saver is your option too.
Number 7, there are 2 RO membranes available, the 75 gallon per day and the 100 gallon per day, and 75 is the answer.
Yeah, unless you really, really need that extra flow. We do offer them because some people do need that flow. But the answer is the 75 has like a roughly 98% rejection rate, meaning, if I had 100 TDS, it would spit out 2. Whereas the 100s commonly have 96, which means it will spit out 4 instead of 2. 4 instead of 2 means twice as much DI resin consumption. So I don't want to change out those filters, to be honest, and I don't want to pay for the filters, to be honest. So unless I really, really need that extra 25 gallons a day, 75 are always going to be a better option.
Number 8, if flow rate really matters, like I want to make 30 gallons of water in a short amount of time, a booster pump's going to be the right move.
Yeah, actually upping the pressure is almost as effective as adding more membranes in many cases. So you can get 50 PSI, you can get 75 gallons. That's what those things are rated for. But if I upped it to 60 PSI, all of a sudden I'm getting like 90 gallons. Wow. And if I go all the way up to like 90 PSI, I'm almost doubling the output of these things. And so like increasing the pressure using a booster pump, you can, and combined with the water saver option with dual membranes, all of a sudden now I could wake up on like Saturday and do a water change, like, probably around noon. Just turn it on and be ready to go. Otherwise, I'd be waiting till tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you have a problem with your tank or all of a sudden something's gone haywire, you can make water quickly, which is really important sometimes.
Very important. You will make mistakes. And you will need water now, not tomorrow. So booster pumps and the water saver functions combined together can really increase the flow. Number 9, the plus models. So they have a little plus next to the title. It means it comes with 3 different things on them. And the plus models come with a pressure gauge, a TDS meter, and a flush kit. Why would I want any one of those things?
Well, besides the obvious answer of why would you not want those things, how are you going to know if there's a problem if you don't have these things?
Yeah, so the TDS meter tells you whether or not the system is working. Without that, you're just kind of hope and pray method, right?
Fingers.
If it isn't working, the pressure gauge is the thing that defines how all of this stuff works. So in almost every case, all the troubleshooting, one way or another, is going to tie back to the pressure gauge. And the flush kit just keeps the membrane to last longer, flush all the debris off of it, so you don't have to change out that filter. That filter should last 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you just flush it every once in a while, we can make sure that happens. The plus features are things that come on all of these models. One of the benefits of buying when it's on here is it's mounted already on here when you buy it together, but you can add this stuff later. Eventually, everyone will buy a TDS meter. Most people a pressure gauge, and most people a flush kit. You can buy them all installed, and it comes with the plus models. Number 10, these systems are easy to upgrade. You are not making a forever decision here.
Yeah, that's important for a lot of beginners because you may have bought the most simple RODI system out there, but you've realized over time, heck, I have a lot of chloramines. I need to add another block. You can upgrade any of these, and it's really not that difficult.
I've certainly done it. So you can take your 4-stage, you can add a sediment filter cartridge before it, fill the carbon blocks in the normal ones. If I wanted to go from a 5-stage to a 6-stage, all I need to do is add another DI canister. If it's already mounted to the wall, no problem. If I want to put it on a dual bracket, you sell brackets, you can reconfigure it. If I want to go to the 7-stage Pro and use the anion, cation, and mixed bed resin together, super easy. You can actually buy that as a kit itself, add it on to any one of your systems. So you're not making forever decisions here. So if the right move today is save a few bucks, get the 4-stage, so be it. You can make a decision to upgrade it at any time. All right, number 11, Matthew's pick for this is my first fish tank.
If you were looking at the website, you might feel overwhelmed, but to make it super simple, if you were getting your first ever, I would get the 5-stage Premium Plus 150 gallons a day. And the main reason I would do that is because I think it really splits the middle between an economy option and a super expensive option. You're gonna get a ton of output, and you're also gonna be saving a lot of water, which, you know, for us Californians, that's a big deal.
There are very, very few people that won't work for.
And number 12, Ryan's pick for you Reef enthusiasts out there.
Okay, if you're a pro, man, 7-stage is where you go because I don't want to change filters very often. This allows me to do that. I don't want to be worried about catching those filters near the end. And in most cases, it's also cheaper in the end. So the 7-stage, when you know that you're into this hobby for a long while, this is the guy for you. I learned something unexpected about RODI system. There's more in the RODI Did You Know playlist right here, and new BRStv episodes released every Monday and Friday.